Hi Leo, it's Jenny here with your August Tarot Horoscope. So as always, I'm just going to pull a single card for the month of August. First 2/3 of August is Leo season, so happy birthday to the rest of you. And then we're going to have Virgo season at the end of the month. I have a little bit of a cold, my throat's feeling a little sore, so we might keep this brief, or I'm going to talk forever, who knows. But the card for you that we have is the Five of Cups reversed. So this is the way he looks, the right way up. So we have this naked woman, and she's standing here at the threshold of this big doorway, and out in the doorway there's these like castles and landscape and ocean and blue sky. Then there's this figure that's sort of like not super well drawn, or like not as in focus as her, and they're kind of reaching out to each other, maybe beckoning to each other, maybe saying goodbye, hard to tell. And then there's these cups here, 2 of them are upright and 3 of them have tipped over. It came out upside down like that. So we're going to see what the Five of Cups has to say for you this month. Five of Cups, a spiritual opening, open to new feelings. 3 cups have fallen over, 2 are still upright. What is bygone and what is sustainable? 3 cups, past, present, and future, indicate that conventional concepts of time are no longer useful. What counts now is inner reality and personal vision. Here and now, we are confronted with desires and fears that may issue from times long past or pertain to events in time still to come. The image of 2 cups still upright means that we can always choose which emotions and needs to accept and which to reject. A beautiful new way opens up. The challenge is to walk through the doorway, and this involves crossing the threshold. We thereby encounter a shadowy self, psychologically speaking, a double, the alter ego or second self. This theme is represented by the shadowy figure on the right. The shadow is a symbol of the unlived parts of the self and for unconscious desires and fears. The nakedness of the figure at the center illustrates truth and, again, openness. So this card symbolizes that the moment of truth has come. New inner realities and new experiences lie ahead. The path at the center of the card goes past a castle, indicating security or imprisonment, and leads on to the ocean and wide open sky. Practical advice. Take note of what aspect of the card attracts you most. Reconciliation or separation, setting out or staying put. These are all possibilities. Water treatments, baths, and showers can help you open up emotionally. Do not run away from your own feelings. This is the moment of truth, the long-awaited new beginning. Okay, Leo. This card is sort of like a famous card in the Standard Rider-Waite's Tarot. It's often known as the crying over spilled milk card, and it's often this sense of you can hyperfixate on the things that you may have lost or that may not be working, or you perceive that they're kind of broken, and then you miss the things that you still have. So a standard interpretation of this card is very much like, oh, you may have lost some things. Some things may be coming to an end. Some things might no longer be accessible, and you might be really feeling the grief of that. And that's okay. This is Cups cards. These are all about feelings. It's okay to feel the grief of a closing, feel the grief of loss, feel the sadness of uncertainty. But the encouragement is the fact that it's not all destroyed. This isn't a card of wiping the slate and everything's destroyed. There are still things that are present for you, things that are still really wonderful to be excited about or to challenge into, that isn't just what's lost. So there's this sort of, this, you can cross the threshold into wallowing in grief or cross the threshold into seeing what is still there and present. And we can waver on that threshold for a really long time. And as this woman stands here at the threshold here, we don't know what's going to happen. Is she going to go through and go to these adventures, or is she going to stay home and tend to the wounds or tend to the joys that are at home? What is going to happen? We don't know. We're at this threshold moment. So for you, you might be at this threshold moment. There might be this sort of sensing of a threshold of things that is going to be different now, and things that are coming, we don't really know what's coming, as well as this sense of like, past and present and future is not so linear. It's going to be quite cyclical. So we may be, the things that are coming in the future may be a very big reflection of what we just left, but it's going to look different. We have different opportunities to behave in different ways. And the core here really is truth. Truth and honesty about what it is that you need and what it is that is the correct thing for you to do, not just what you think is the next stage, not what other people say this is what you should do, not that helpful advice from your friendly neighborhood tarot reader telling you what to do. It is you need to be honest with yourself, and you cannot be honest with other people if you aren't honest to yourself. You can lie to so many people because you think you're telling the truth, but you really haven't looked at something just hit my roof. sure, it's fine. It's just a bit windy out here. So you may think you'd be telling the truth to somebody else, but you can't be honest if you're not really in connection with what it is that is open and true for yourself. So there's, this really, this card is really quite beautiful in this particular depiction of it. It's not gray, it's not grief. There's just so much openness and possibility, but also this, there's this neutrality as well. Is, do you feel the melancholy? Do you feel excitement? Do you feel it all kind of mixed up together? What's the truth of that? Feelings are not so cut and dry that I feel sad, clearly. I feel angry, clearly. Like, they can muddle up, and we can be angry about that we're feeling sad. We can be embarrassed that we feel joyous. Like, all of these things, they just kind of meld all together, and that's part of the adventure of it. So that's we're just sort of standing at a gateway here, and really what it is that you're going to do is really up to you. The choice itself is neutral. There's not a better or worse thing to do. It's entirely based on what's the truth of your current moment and what is the best thing for you to be doing at this moment. And in order to understand that, you need to be vulnerable and honest with yourself, and how that's going to look for you. So we're currently in Leo season. I'll sip for my throat here. We're currently in Leo season, so this is already this is a standard threshold moment for you. It's your birthday. Like, this is a classic time to kind of take a look and see what has happened before, and what has the last year been for you? Where are you going? This is a really great time anyway to have this kind of moment of reflection and see where you want to go. So this is a great time for it, and really landing into that feeling of, which you may have in droves anyway. One of the Leo archetypes is confidence and being very self-assured, and part of that means really looking to your needs first before you look to others, and just tapping into the ego of the self of, what do I need? What do I want? As the first order of the day, which then allows you to be honest, and then you can assist others and check what other people want, and then you'll be able to gauge how well you can interact with them because you know what you want, whether you're going to compromise yourself or not. So a lot of people can really struggle to land into that ego. This may be a stronger suit for you. This may also be a problem for you if you can only ever focus in on yourself and hyperfixate on what are my needs, what do I want, and kind of ignore the community and other people. So you do want to make sure that this is part of the process of engaging healthily with others and yourself, as it starts with knowing your needs and desires, but it also recognizes that everybody else has that Leo ego in themselves as well. Everybody else is looking at their own needs and desires, and they rightfully should. So if people don't want to help you with your needs, it's not necessarily that they're poo-pooing on you. It's just that might be clashing with what they need, and they may be being honest and open with you and authentically saying, I can't help you right now. I've got my own thing to do. And you can receive that, and hopefully with grace, and say, excellent, that's a boundary. You're looking at your own needs. I look at mine. And we kind of engage and share. People help when they can. People tend to themselves when they can, when they need to. And that's all part of that honesty, being vulnerable and understanding what your needs are so that you can reflect them to the community. So that's sort of what's happening up until mid-August, is really tapping into the ego self. What are your needs? What are your desires? What are your emotional needs? And what are your needs in order to caretake yourself through these emotional experiences, dealing with these cups that have tipped over? There may be some grief. You may have some needs. And then in Virgo season, Virgo is a sign of service and healthcare as well, of trying to really focus on health. So this really you might realize that, wow, I'm actually really drained from these cups that have fallen over from the past year, from things that I've experienced, and I really need to take care of myself for a little bit. I really need to either ask for help from others and help them engage in their Virgo service, or just focus in on the health of the body and the soul and the spirit, and just kind of cloister in as you need to. This may also be a time to realize that actually there's other people around you that also need help, and asking for consent to help others, not bulldozing in there and just imposing that on them, and just really looking to the health of everybody, health of yourself, health of your friends, your community, your ecosystem. Virgo season is it's a really great time just to focus on there's this connection in Virgo to growing things, to the natural world, and so the health of the ecosystem is often reflected in the health of our culture, society, and our own spirit. So, there's this. It just really feels like a nourishing time to really need to land in what are your needs, what are your emotional experiences, what kind of threshold are you at in this past year moving into the future, and then really working at that, asking for help and being confident and offering help and just engaging in a very kind of basic community oriented, like just working together, just taking care of each other. Maybe not the time for like far flung like big vision into the world stuff. Like those are all great to keep in mind, but like you don't want your home and your body and your relationships to suffer because you're out being, altruistic in the grand scheme of things. Like the health of everybody starts further, it starts in the core, and then we ripple out that way. So that's what I'm going to leave you with for this month. If you want any extra support, especially around your birthday and Leo season, do check out my Leo season astrology forecast. It's a pay what you can workshop hosted on my YouTube channel. Do check that out. All donations are super appreciated. Helps me keep making this content. You know what? Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel too. Whatever. That's a Leo thing to do. Expression. Help people with their platforms. Why don't you do that too? Just a little gift to myself and to you. So thanks so much, Leo, and I hope you have wonderful birthdays and a fabulous August, and I will see you next month.